got to point at you for some reason in particular?
You spend what, $140 to represent your favorite player with a jersey, or more. I don't know. And you come to an MLK Day here at the Garden, and the tickets are twice to 3 times the price, and to come here and spend your hard-earned money that you've saved up to bring your family to this game, and for us to come here and obviously not only win, which is disappointing, but not really have a chance. I'd be disappointed too. And the fans, they spend their hard-earned money. They give us so much love and motivation to go out there, and they expect the results, and so do we. So, the fans are doing their part, and we got to do our part.
I think this all goes back to the summer. Behind the scenes, he heard all the stuff about Giannis, and I think that's bothered him. I think he looks at it. You guys took me out of Minnesota. I'm on your team for 1 year. We make a conference final. Now you want to ship me off to Milwaukee. Remember, too, when they went to Milwaukee, remember the egg that he laid there? Tell Milwaukee, do not trade for me. When Mike Brown first got the job, they said he was going to unlock Karl-Anthony-Towns. Karl-Anthony-Towns was an all-NBA player last year, folks. The guy went to a conference finals. Like, what do you mean he's going to get unlocked?
Wow. So the Knicks are apparently shopping around Karl-Anthony-Towns. They've discussed potential deals with the Magic, Hornets, and Grizzlies, reportedly. It kind of has me thinking, like, if they do trade Karl-Anthony-Towns, and obviously it depends on what they get back for him, but just the fact that they are thinking about trading him kind of means that this attempt at Karl-Anthony-Towns and the Knicks trying to achieve great things, become one of the best teams in the league, becomes a flop and a failure, no? Now, I've always thought the Randall, DiVincenzo, Cat, like that deal, I did think it benefited both sides. But no matter, even outside of this trade, no matter if you look at a trade long-term, short-term, if one team ends up trading the guy that they got in that deal, I would say it most likely didn't work out. So am I crazy to think that if the Knicks do trade Cat, again, return dependent, but if they do trade Cat, it's a massive, massive flop. I don't know if I would trade Karl-Anthony-Towns if I am the Knicks. I really believe now, obviously, Brunson being their best player and their closer and everything like that. But I do believe Karl-Anthony-Towns is the X factor to how good they can be. But maybe that's just it. Maybe that's the problem. The Knicks organization doesn't believe that X is big enough. Or that in some big moments, that X just disappears.
Karl-Anthony-Towns put on one of his worst performances as a New York Knick. And what was striking to me about Towns was, at times, it was reminiscent of the worst of the Julius Randle experience. When I think about, pouting, disinterested, sloppy, no attention to detail, lifeless, that was not the entire Julius Randle experience. But Julius Randle's time here, we all know, was a roller coaster. And part of the excitement about him leaving was that we were off that roller coaster of seeing games like what we saw from Karl-Anthony-Towns last night. But it feels like Karl-Anthony-Towns is actually molding into a version of Julius Randle. The unevenness, the nights where it's like he doesn't want to be on the court. And there have been a lot of nights this year where it feels like he's just floating around. Sometimes I look at his stats, I'm kind of stunned he's averaging as many points and rebounds as he is. It's like he's so talented, I think he kind of could roll out of bed and get 20 and 10. There have been too many nights this season, particularly, where you watch Towns and it's just like he's floating. And it almost feels like when things aren't going his way or he's not feeling quite as comfortable, it's kind of like he throws in the towel.
All right, so the Knicks are contemplating trading Karl-Anthony-Towns. Check out the NBA Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. I was listening to Club 520 podcast, and I heard Jeff Teague say that maybe one of the issues on why Cat ain't playing well is because he was real close to Tom Thibodeau. And he loved Tom Thibodeau. So getting rid of Tom Thibodeau may have also affected the relationship that Cat has with Mike Brown, who are basically, that's why he ain't getting the most out of him. And, for the most part, really when you look at that Minnesota trade, it seemed like basically Minnesota won that trade if they get rid of Karl-Anthony-Towns. Obviously, I felt like they didn't need Rudy Gobert, but it is what it is. They said the Grizzlies, the Hornets are two teams in Orlando Magic interested in them. Honestly, looking at Orlando, what are you going to get? I heard Mitchell Robinson talking about peace out or something like that. So they can just be reconstructing their big fella. So if I look at Orlando, you ain't getting Franz, you ain't getting Paolo, you probably ain't getting Dez McBain. So Wendell Carter, a bunch of picks, maybe a 3-team trade. I don't know who else they would have to offer. Jalen Suggs, a great defender in the backcourt. Anthony Black probably going to be in there as well, too. Just trying to think about some of the guys they got on the roster. So I doubt if they part ways with Paolo or Franz. So you probably looking at Franz. You probably looking at, not Franz, someone with Wendell Carter to replace Karl Athony-Towns. That's probably pretty much what you're looking at when you look at the Orlando roster. I think he'd do well in Orlando. Orlando is an underrated spot. The coach is straight. So honestly, I don't know. I don't know how, who they really have, and I'm trying to pull it up. But see who they got. So probably Anthony Black gonna be in there. They got Mo Wagner, Jalen Suggs, Wendell Carter gonna be in there. Tyus Jones, Jet Howard. It's probably gonna some Wendell Carter. I don't know the salaries. Anthony Black and Wendell Carter, bare minimum, they gonna be in that deal. If Franz and Paolo and Bane in it, I gotta get Black, Wendell Carter, probably Jalen Suggs too, and a bunch of picks. You look at Memphis, you probably guessed it. It's probably gonna have Jaren Jackson Jr. in the deal. That's probably, I don't think John Morant and Buddy mix. And Jalen Brunson. So I don't think that really mix. I don't think Brunson want to play without the ball. You go to Memphis, you probably gonna get Jaren Jackson Jr. It's pretty. Maybe, they get Kentavious Caldwell-Pope over there with them. They got a couple guys just like him. So maybe they get Zach Edey and Jaren Jackson Jr. or something like that. And then Charlotte, they got a bunch of stuff they can give him. I doubt if, LaMelo Ball is in that deal, if I'm keeping it real. I think if Jalen Suggs is going to take the ball out of his hand and they can get LaMelo to play with some discipline, it could work, but I don't think it's going to work. I think when you look at it, that Khan Cupola guy, that's their future. Bridges or Brandon Miller in the deal, I think that's imperative. One of them has to be in the deal. I didn't know they had Colin Sexton over there. And other than that, Pat Conahue, the dude that can shoot from Memphis, they got him over there. So Pat, probably a guy like Grant Williams to fit over there. Miller or Bridges, I think, and some picks. But none of these teams, I feel like, and I think, you're not expecting to get a big offer for Cat, but, I think Cat Hart went when I think that's true what Jeff Teague was saying. I think Cat, when, Tom Thibodeau left, I just think he ain't made that adjustment. I think he missed Tibbs. As far as just a best fit for him, out of the 3 teams, probably Orlando. Memphis is in rebuild. Karl, I think Charlotte is the worst place for him, in my opinion, out of the 3. Because Memphis in rebuild, or I think Orlando, they be trying to win right now. But the thing about him, if you going to Charlotte is very unserious. LaMelo is unserious. All of them is unserious in the Charlotte. And you put Karl down there, he really unserious. It just be a whole unserious team. Hornets need a veteran, need a few veterans that get them together and get them disciplined and get them out on the prize. Now, if any other team want to jump in and make something happen, and maybe if it was you, the Lakers, and you talking about, getting rid of Austin Reeves, maybe you can do something with, New York. Cat already paid. Cat, Luka, Cat defend. Cat can stretch it out. That might make a lot of sense for them. Golden State cooked. Jimmy Butler went down. They cooked. Maybe if you Phoenix, you know what I'm saying? Maybe if you Phoenix, Mark Williams, Jalen Green, couple Gillespie. They got some guys. Maybe you go, hey, we can put Karl-Anthony-Towns with Devin Booker. Maybe you like that. New Orleans, maybe you're willing to do some Karl-Anthony-Towns and Derek Queen. I think they could play together. Queen, Towns, you got some young bulls at guard. Maybe ship Zion and some over there. That may work. Maybe if you're in Atlanta, I heard, CJ McCollum not doing so well over there in Atlanta. Maybe you can package McCullough and a few other them guys, Okongu and some over there. Jalen Johnson and Karl-Anthony-Towns and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, right? Maybe that may work. Maybe if you Boston, I don't know who they really would have to offer, and I'm not sure. Trying to just think about teams that's contenders. Maybe if you Cleveland, you look to do something, but then you do already got Evan Mobley, so that don't really make no sense. Toronto, probably not right now. So yeah, I'm just trying to think of some other places, man, that's kind of like close to winning, and he can kind of put them over the hump. In my opinion, Denver don't need him. Houston don't need him. OKC. I mean, would you really want to mess with the science like that? I heard they was trying to get rid of Lou Dart. They might want to get rid of Isaiah Hartenstein. Maybe you throw Shad Holmgren in there and a couple other pieces. You go Cat, Shea Gillensley, Jalen Williams. I doubt that. I really probably wouldn't want to mess up that formula like that. Honestly, I wouldn't want to mess up that formula. Maybe if you Portland, a lot of young talent, Jeremy Grant, send some pieces over there. So yeah, man, honestly, man, I don't know what's going on with Cat, but honestly, if I had to be honest, probably, maybe with Washington, getting them down to Washington with Trae Young. But if I had to say, probably my favorite fit with him, probably be in Phoenix with Book. But hey, let me know what you girls and guys think. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Check out the NBA Talk playlist. Find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Amazon, the whole nine. Appreciate the love and support. Join the Patreon. Peace.
So are the Knicks thinking about taking a big swing? With the caveat that a lot can change should the Bucks make Giannis Antetokounmpo available. The answer from what I'm told is no. The Knicks are not looking to do a deal involving Karl-Anthony-Towns. They're not looking to do a deal involving Mikal Bridges. They are frankly not looking to do deals involving any of their core guys. And that includes, from what I'm told, Mitchell Robinson, who had some very interesting social media posts as of late, though I'm told that is just kind of Mitch being Mitch and has nothing to do or is no indication of a trade involving him that might be imminent. My sense is that the Knicks are going to try to ride this out with this group for the rest of the season and hope that their chemistry, their continuity, the fact that they were a conference finalist last year, that helps power them in the postseason. Mike Brown has come out and said he doesn't believe this team needs a rebuild. James Dolan, the owner, was on the radio recently saying he believes this team can make the finals. So I don't think the Knicks are looking to make any substantive changes with their core, which is not to say the Knicks aren't out there talking to teams and looking to make a deal.